Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want every single person out there with an invisible condition to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you do have a voice and you have a community and you're never, ever alone. And here on Invisible Condition, okay, we get it. We know that life can be tough when you're living with a condition that nobody else can see. I've lived with one my whole life. I was born with one that requires brain surgery. I'm 7 brain surgeries in. I can relate. I understand. The thing is, there is always hope as well. It can be tough, but there is also always hope. If it's been a minute for you, join us. It's nice here. It's nice with hope. It's a beautiful place. So it's been a while for you. Join us. Love to have you. So I want to talk about something real quick before we bring our amazing guest on today. I would like to talk to you about our nonprofit, the nonprofit arm of the show, and that is called Hydro with Hope. And that organization is devoted to walking beside and helping families and individuals that are living with a condition called hydrocephalus, which is coincidentally the condition I was born with. And we want to make sure those families have that voice and have that community. And so we published a journal, a fill-in-the-blank journal, to help people kind of walk through that experience of, holy smokes, we got to do what kind of surgery again, and walk through all that. And my wife and I love to speak and spread hope everywhere we go. And so if you have an event that you think would be awesome for us to speak at, I'd love to hear about it. And all the things, we talk to families and walk them through some of this stuff sometimes. And, we're running out of, our mission has outgrown our income right now for the nonprofit. And so we are expanding our board and we're doing everything we can to grow larger so that we can help more people. If you know of somebody that would want to help us in that, I would love to hear from you. And I want to put an email here. So find it there. We go. So just shoot me a message at invisiblecondition@e360tv.com and let's chat. At the same time, this is a TV show. There are commercials, there are sponsors, and we love them all. And if you are interested in being one of those, I would love to talk to you. If you want to get the word out about what you're doing on our TV show, it would be an honor to have a conversation with you and see how we could put that together and make it work for you. So all that to say, let's get this going here. That's enough talking about that. Now, our guest today, I can't wait for you to meet her. So Dr. Evette Rose. So before she turned 30, Dr. Rose collapsed, then woke up in a hospital bed after having a stress-induced heart attack. Not great. Don't do that, by the way. That's not great. She had been living in a state of high functioning stress, and this was her wake-up call. Kind of hit her between the eyes there. And now, in addition to beyond that, in addition to authoring 21 books, Dr. Evette is also a counseling psychologist, international speaker, and retreat facilitator. She's putting together an amazing retreat night right now. Maybe we'll talk about it while we're on the show. Over the past 2 decades, she has guided thousands of people across 43 countries through deep personal transformation. That's a lot. 43 countries, combining evidence-based psychology and powerful holistic practices. I love that combination. That's what we're about around here. So let's bring her on and get this show on the road here. Hello. Thank you so much for being here. This is awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited too.
Absolutely. And for those of you who don't know, we are eons apart right now. As far as you're on the other side of the planet from me. You're in United Arab Emirates right now. Is that right?
I'm in Asia, in the Asian Pacific side. So even further.
There you go. Good Lord. Okay, so there you go. And I'm sitting here in Colorado, so you're living in the future. Yeah,
I am. I can tell you how your day's going to be.
It looks like we're doing okay, so that's great. I love it.
We have a happiness forecast.
So here we go. I have a question that I like to ask everybody on the show when we first get here, and there's no wrong answer. Everybody always comes up with amazing answers, and it's a question that I love. And so I'm going to ask you, on those really tough days, looking back in the history there, and like there were some rough days, and on those hard days, how did you maintain hope?
That's a really great question. So the first thing that I realized is the power of my thoughts. And it took me a while to realize that, because when you're in that place of emotional distress and pain, that's all that you see.
Yeah.
And your RAS, the reticular activating system, kind of validates that, because it filters more in of what you focus on.
Yeah.
So we become stuck in this invisible loop, and we don't always know and understand in that moment how to break that pattern. And this is where I realized, well, if my thoughts are that powerful, what if I just slowly start to disrupt what I'm thinking in that moment? And so I tried that, and it didn't work for me. It just didn't. Like thinking, oh, well, maybe there's going to be better days, or, this too shall pass. That quote, right?
Sure.
This too shall pass. I wanted to strangle people who said that to me, because I'm like, no, it doesn't feel like that right now. So I don't want to hear that. It's easy for you to say that sitting there on the other side of where I am right now.
Right.
So, to just be really honest, right? Let's be frank. And so what I realized what really helped me was to focus on what I'm doing right.
Nice.
So I would answer these questions, and it's mandatory. I have to answer 5 things that's going right in my life now. And yes, I've had moments where I had to go back to basics, Jeff. I had to go back to basics, and I'm like, okay, and I'm breathing. Okay, what's going right in my life? I have a roof over my head. Okay, I have clothing on my body. This is good. Okay, this is good. I have food in my fridge. Not always a lot, but I have it. That's great. Okay, this is what's going right. I have a bed to sleep in. Okay, this is going right. And yes, I've had days where that was what was going right in my life, right? You just couldn't see further beyond other things.
Yeah.
And then I focus on the other 5 mandatory questions were, what am I doing right? Because this is the 2 worlds that we live in. It's your environment and it's you. And if both feel like it's collapsing, well, then we need to elevate both as well to bring balance back. So I would focus on what am I doing right. So a lot of people will probably sit and think, well, that's great. Yeah, I don't feel like I'm doing a lot of things right when I'm feeling like I'm sitting in a dump, right?
Yeah.
So yes, then we go back to basics again. What am I doing right? I'm breathing. Okay, this is good. Okay. Oh, Evette, you're breathing. This is good. Oh, okay. I got up I brushed my teeth. Okay, this is good. I did that right. So this there were days, Jeff, where it really just had to be that.
Yeah.
But it still elevated me ever so slightly, and it will just dislodge you from that place of stuckness and slowly, gently elevate you. And I would practice that at least 3 times a day. And how I would do that is I would put an alarm on my phone, and then I will check, and then it will be like check in with Evette. And I'll sit there. I'm like, okay, what have I done right so far? And so I focus more. So because now there was a time lapse. What did I do right? What did I do right? I answered that email really well. Okay, this is good. And so you literally start to perk and gently lift your way out of that by focusing on what is going right around me and what is going right within me. So that is what I would do. And I do it to this day. I love it. I do it to this day. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. See, I told you, perfect answer.
Yeah.
There's no wrong answer. That was beautiful. So I'm gonna pop something on the screen real quick before we go too much further.
Yeah.
And thank everybody for being here. If you are here on E360 TV, welcome. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Apple TV, wherever you are, we're so glad you're here. If you're on Facebook and YouTube, Facebook or YouTube, or both, I don't know, maybe you're on both. Really easy to comment on those platforms, obviously. So if you are watching this and Evette says something and you're like, whoa, light bulb, or no, that's not true. She's full of it. No, we're going to debate this or whatever. Like, just throw a comment in there, and we'll keep up with you. And then we can reach out after the show or whatever we want to do. So it's a great way to communicate. Let us know where you're watching from, all the things, we want to know what's going on with you guys. So there you go. And then the other thing I want to put up here is your website. So walk people through, they scan the QR code, they go to that website. What are they going to find?
Great question. So this is really what I specialize in, and that is helping people to decode messages in their body. So Jeff, it's exactly what you do. We're such a perfect match here for today's podcast or today's talk. And so the invisible condition, it's all about there's something's going on, but what is it? I don't know what it is. My doctors can't tell me why is this condition keep coming back? There has to be a message, right? Or maybe you have pain and there's no underlying cause. Now what? What do we do with the psychosomatic pain? What is the root cause of it? Our emotions deeply influence. It's not always the cause of ailments, but sometimes it can exacerbate it. And this is where we want to look at how can we support the body? Like if our diet is great, our medication is great, but maybe we're taking the right vitamins, what is left? It's your mindset. It's your emotions. So what I do is I help people to decode these suppressed hidden messages in a language that we can understand, because the body's language is very different to ours. And so what you'll find there on the website, on the first homepage, is just a fun, free, downloadable decoding messages guide. So if you have pain, if you have something that's quirky, awkward, weird, and you're just like, what's my body trying to tell me? That little booklet is going to give you a relatively quite accurate answer. So you'll find also, of course, my events, working with me and my practitioners and everything else that's also fun. But that's the main thing that I think you would absolutely love.
Amazing. I mean, come on, guys. We've only been here for 15 minutes. Like, how fun would it be to work with her? I mean, come on. This is,
there might be some tears.
but overall, I mean, come on.
Good tears.
So obviously there was something that led you to I mean, what led you to that crazy? I mean, it was stress, right? But what event led up to that heart attack that snapped you out of it?
This is such a great question. So Jeff, this actually happened in 2 stages.
Okay.
So very early in my life, in my way early 20s, this is when I actually started my career. But believe it or not, I was actually studying to be a crime scene investigator and a lawyer, right? I was working in corporate and studying this at the same time. And so it was really expensive back then to study. I had to pay for everything myself. And so something had to give. So I had to slowly start giving up, studying this dream job that I was really aiming for. And I was really deeply driven by justice. Justice have to be served for people who were, hurt, wounded, or, families that's suffering because of the actions of someone else. It's like, no, the wrongs must be set right. So I was very much justice driven and, to correct the injustice. But that was actually also my inner child that wanted justice. And I didn't know how to give it to myself. So I ended up flipping it inside out. And I went out into the world wanting to help other people with that as well. That's why it was a very emotional decision. And what happened was my behavioral patterns, my habits, my way of life was so destructive. As an end result of my relationship with my father, we had a very, very toxic dynamic. He was a clinically diagnosed sociopath. He was an alcoholic, and he was a self-medicated drug addict. It was wild. And I'm the only child, so there was no one to share that burden with. And thank God he was out quite a lot. I mean, he lived basically in the pub. So my interaction with him was quite minimal, but when it was there, it was destructive. It was very destructive. And the stress of that dynamic that I carried with me and the role model imprint that he left for me, what a man is, right? Back then.
Yeah.
This now translated into my life. and what I ended up being attracted to, and ways that I copied of how to live and how to react. How do we deal with stress? So there was a lot of subconscious learned copied behavior, and
Sure.
my pain turned into powerlessness, and that
Yeah.
powerlessness turned into rage. It turned into anger. Everyone has a threshold in life, and anyone that's been abused, whether in hostile circumstances, whatever it was, my dad was quite violent. We all have a threshold.
Yeah.
Some people collapse and freeze, and other people fight back.
Mm-hmm.
I collapsed and freezed, and then the anger came, and I started to fight back. And this anger, Jeff, became one of my core foundational drivers in life. But this is also what really drove me into the ground. Right? You fight and you strive for happiness, but you're so livid and enraged at the same time. You cannot be happy and angry at the same time.
Nope.
So I worked so hard because I promised myself, Evette, you will never go back to your parents' house, no matter what. Yep. No matter what. And I made that pact with myself. And Jeff, I kept that pact. Left the house when I was 17. And I used that anger as my gasoline. And so I continued to work, and I worked and I worked, and I achieved incredible success. Ended up, I was in South Africa at that time, ended up in Australia with a very prestigious job. And I was so thankful, and had a big house, beautiful property, at a great position. Everything was going great. But I was so angry. Yeah. You'd think now you have everything, you have the freedom that you wanted, but the anger was shadowing my capacity to take in the very thing that I was fighting for. I couldn't feel it. So what do? We fight harder. We become more angrier. We think we need to do more. We need to suffer more to get what we feel that we deserve. But in a way, deep down, right? But deep down, you feel like you don't deserve it. So what do you think is going to happen? You fight harder and you feel less worthy. You fight even harder, you feel more or less worthy. So it becomes the self-fulfilling cycle. And that's exactly what happened to me. Yeah. And it came to a stopping point where my life completely changed. I found personal development. And 3 months later, I was so disciplined in seeing the changes in my life because I started to see the results that 3 months later, after discovering it, I quit my job. I quit my corporate job. Left my relationship, left the house, I left everything, and I moved with 2 suitcases. And I started my new life in teaching people just pretty much what I did to improve my life, and put it on YouTube, and it went viral. And so that's where the success came. People started booking, and it just blew up.
That's amazing.
But now I'm still working with this anger that now feels a little bit more balanced, but it's still there. Yeah. And so what I did was I didn't realize that I thought this was positive stress called eustress. And I'm thinking, wow, I'm knocking out the goals, ticking the boxes in this country speaking, then we're teaching here, and this, wow, this is amazing. I'm living my best life. But deep down, I can't be still. I can't sit still, because then the voices come. Not schizophrenia, but that you're not good enough. We need to work harder. Go Evette, you can't sit still. And the anger was still there. But this positive stress, this eustress masked that anger. Yeah. Smiling all the time. We find ways to cope with that anger in ways that we feel is constructive. But in my case, it was not constructive. And the stress just kept building because I couldn't recognize the stress. I was covering it with smiling and doing things in my life that I love. And, that dopamine kick. So what I didn't realize at the time, what I was doing is that I became addicted to trying to reach my goal, which was where the dopamine kicked in. It was not kicking in and was not being programmed at the actual outcome of the goal. Because there was always another thing. There was always another thing.
Right.
I need to do something else. Where's that high? I'm looking for that high again. And so the more you get used to the dopamine high, the harder we work because we wanted that dopamine high to spike again. And this is how we start to become in this toxic, addictive pattern. And I got stuck in that. And then one day I experienced quite a significant loss, and my relationship at that time was also collapsing. And my body just said no. It said no. So on the day of that loss, 2-3 hours after that, I collapsed. That was just it. My body just said no.
Wow.
We're not doing this anymore. And
Yeah.
the mask dropped. And it was a rude awakening. It was a lot, Jeff, because you sit there. I'm in the hospital. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, wow.
Yeah.
I fought so hard for everything that I have. I'm living my best life. I'm living my dream. Well, I thought I did.
Were you?
And here, what I thought was my dream, what I'm doing to achieve it, nearly took my life. And if I went today, someone else would have emptied my bank account. Someone else would be living in my beautiful house. Someone else will be running a business that I ran myself into the ground for. And they'll just take over and just benefit from that. What am I actually taking with me? Right. And that's where the rage kicked in again. And I'm like, oh, there's that familiar feeling. There is that familiar feeling.
Well,
we are not done.
Right. Yeah. You're not done, but you got to a point where there was a turning point, right? I mean, there had to have been, that's probably where that, right. And so I tell you what I feel like we need to take a break real quick. We need to go make some sponsors happy. So but I want to pick up where this story is going, because there is a really good ending on the other side of this. So we're going to
absolutely. Yes. This is a positive cliffhanger.
Totally. So stick around. Do not want to miss the rest of this. So don't go anywhere. And we will be back in just a couple minutes. We'll see you soon.
Hey everybody, Craig Tomanini here, founder and CEO of Ask Craig T, and I wanted to do a quick reminder about our podcast every Friday, 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. You can find us on YouTube and on all of our social media platforms, so be sure you tune in. Don't miss all the valuable information we're going to give you about how to scale your business using technology.
The Club eFit Home Portable Gym System is a groundbreaking new system that can help everyone at any fitness level. You can be the happy, fit person you always wanted to be, and Club eFit can make that happen by helping you get the body you deserve in the time you can spare. With workouts ranging from cardio, core, to total body toning, it's easy to get started. Start taking care of you today. To make the change, go to clubefit.com now.
Hi, this is Clara Capano, your host for Women Winning Their Way, where we talk about how you can create success all on your terms. Join us Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Limelight Network here on E360 TV.
All right, everybody, we're going to bring Evette back in just a second, but I didn't say this at the beginning of the show because I wanted to save it for right now, but this is the final show of season 5. We are already all the way through season 5, guys. This is insane. So we have gone through the entire season again. I feel like this one went faster than the last one. That's how it always goes, right? It's don't blink. It's going to be, we'll be through season 6 and 7 before we even know it. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for making this show what it has become, and such a successful place to tell these amazing stories to our incredible audience. Thank you so much for being here. So just wanted to point that out and look out, because coming up next week is going to be beginning of season 6. So look out, here it comes. All right, let's bring back Evette here and continue the story here. Oh my goodness. All right. So we left him on a kind of a cliffhanger, and I did that on purpose. I'm like, sorry, not sorry, like I want to. So what's the rest of the story here?
So what I did was I ended up, again, just, of course, I wrapped up everything that I was properly supposed to do and did all the right things by everyone.
Mhm.
And I walked away from everything again.
Yeah.
And what I didn't realize, again, this is me throwing away everything that I've worked for, because when you love doing something and you're going through pain while you're doing that, there's a high probability, without you even realizing it, that you start to subconsciously associate what you love with the pain that you feel.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that that was me. And so I wanted to get away from it all, thinking that that was part of the problem.
Yeah.
But it was this little gremlins in my mind and in my body, meaning the emotions, that I didn't want to touch. I didn't know what to do with it anymore. And, I did give myself credit at the time, because I did improve my life. Like my mental health, everything was really great. But there was just this anger was so deeply engraved, and I had to learn how to achieve success without it. I had to relearn how to feel driven and motivated without that cortisol high, right?
Yeah.
And how to rewire that dopamine so that it's more connected to the actual outcome of what I would like to achieve, rather than being addicted to the stress and and everything else that comes with actually achieving it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
this was,
sorry,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt, but
No,
that reminds me. That reminded me of the book. You had a huge book, big, thick, giant, 7. Like,
Yeah.
is that where that kind of came from? Like, you were working on that for a long time, and this is
Many
what you're
years.
talking about reminds me of what you told me about that book, and so I didn't know if this would be a good time to talk about that, or if we want to. I want to make sure we talk to the audience about that book.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
Absolutely. So
So,
I was writing that book going through all of this. So
Yeah.
this book was my companion through all of this. And a lot of my experience, of course, also captured in there along with my clients and students. And that book is what I was writing while I was, traveling and just noticing
Yeah.
the incredible patterns between, like Jeff, maybe you sit there and you have this incredible migraine, and then suddenly I speak to someone in New Zealand, and they also have this terrible migraine, and how the emotional triggers and patterns of this would be the same for both people, provided that the migraine, of course, is not related to, say, diet or maybe an underlying medical cause. But even if it's an underlying medical cause, each ailment also have their set of little emotional triggers and trauma points emotionally. And I thought, isn't that wild? Isn't that incredible? So I continue to capture this incredible information and data. And so after I started my second life, or my second life, I dived even deeper into that because of my newfound appreciation for emotions. I mean, I understood the power of it, but now I respected emotions. And this is where I started to bring everything together, with that book as the core foundation of my new journey.
And what's the name? What's the title of it?
That's Metaphysical Anatomy.
Metaphysical Anatomy.
Do you want me to flash it here?
You got it handy?
Yes, of course. I always have it handy.
Of course you do. Come on.
It's this one.
Nice.
It's this one. So it's a really big, thick
huge.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one is for adults. And then we also have another one, which is actually for children.
Oh, nice.
So that's the Psychosomatics for Children, another big one.
Love that.
And so the one for adults is your body is talking. Are you listening? For kids, it's like, well, how can kids be involved? They don't really have a lot of trauma. And I'm like, well, your Your ancestry is talking. Are you listening?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this became my new wave, my new career that I fell in love with even more. And this is where I became aware of, because I rejected it at first because of the emotional stress that I associated with that. So I started to break that down, and my love started to come back for what I do, and my life came back into balance, and all the mental repatterning, and it was such an incredible journey. And this is where also, and then I started to have neck pain. I'm thinking, oh my God, where's this pain coming from? I don't have any causes, but it's so bad that, I would sometimes feel like I'm going to pass out from the pain.
Yeah.
And it's like, so, and I had to go back in again and see, where is this coming from? And I'm like, is this anger again? What is my body trying to tell me? So instead of suppressing my body, now I'm wildly curious. Now I take serious these symptoms that come forward. Of course, we should always check with the medical teams and make sure that your body's not trying to tell you that there is actually an underlying medical cause.
Sure.
That's why it's speaking to you. That's why it's flaring up. That's why it gives you pain or suddenly brain fog, or, it's not there to ruin your life. Its sole purpose of your body is to keep you alive. It's not designed to fail you. It defeats the entire evolutionary cycles that we've seen over hundreds and thousands of years. But our mindset can deeply impact what the body can and cannot do. If we are not solution orientated or curious, then the body's going to suffer as a result, right?
Oh, yeah.
But if you can be curious and be solution orientated and know that there's an opposite polarity to everything in life, where there's pain, there's freedom. Where there's sadness, there's happiness. So where there's a problem, there's a solution. And this thought, this way of thinking really helped me, because sometimes when we feel pain, when we feel distress, when there is this invisible condition, it can be really debilitating. You can feel so defeated. I mean, how did you feel? I mean, can you relate? I mean, sure, this is something that you experienced yourself. Like, and how did you get yourself out of that? I'm curious, like, when you went through, like, what did you do when the body would give you all these symptoms? Like, what helped you to take that next step?
I think good question. Depending on what the phase was in life, 4 brain surgeries in the last 10 years, each one was very unique and very different. The symptoms were different. The outcome is different. The recovery, the surgery itself. So, but yeah, I mean, I just knew, especially as we went on and more were happening, I just knew that I could advocate for myself, and I needed to advocate for myself. And I did not give up until I found the solution that I knew was out there, especially with the third and fourth and
there.
The different ones that were the first couple surgeries. It was a little freaky because it's like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And what, but you got two choices. You either give up and lay down and die, or you get up and figure it out. And I wasn't willing to just lay down and give up. I wanted to figure it out. So that's where we went, and we went down that rabbit hole, and I'm so glad we did. So
I love that. And you really summed it up there for me, because that's exactly, it's that mindset. It's that I'm not going to give up. This is my life. I'm reclaiming my power. I'm reclaiming my power from my thoughts. Sometimes we have to reclaim our power from ourselves, meaning the other part of us that is, negative, that can get, upset. Because let me be honest, even to this day, I sometimes sit here and I just feel just really, we just feel down. You just feel,
sure.
It's just like, I just don't want to be an adult today. And my husband would be like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm having a pity party right now, and no one is invited." And so, right, we sometimes just you just feel like you need to feel a little bit sorry for yourself before you can go back out in the world. It's just kind of like, there, it's okay, it's okay, and this for me is just that moment for me just to come back to myself, and it's not really self-pity. It's just, wow. I've been powering through the whole day or the whole week or the whole month, and I'm feeling that. I'm feeling the impact of it. I'm feeling a little bit raw. I'm feeling a little bit vulnerable. And now I'm so good at just acknowledging that. That's when my self-compassion now starts to kick in. Took me a while. Took me a while to welcome that. But I did. And I welcomed it by starting with what we started it earlier, the 5 things that you're doing right, the 5 things that's going right in your life. And so and this is what started to bring me back to that self-compassion where I'm like, God, wow, Evette, I did so great today. So how are we feeling right now? Look at how all the good things are overshadowing what I'm feeling. So this is now how I'm starting to get out of that state much faster. But it's normal. And I want everyone to know that it's normal to feel just really down, to just feel really blah. But what I learned from the Evette in the past is that I stayed in that place too long to the point where it became my identity. Being a victim was my identity. And I don't say this lightly. I'm not going to go into everything that has happened to me. I wrote an autobiography about it, Unveiling My Truth. But let me tell you, I could not separate victimhood and Evette. This was like 2 peas in a pod. Blaming people and just feeling angry at the world, and this happened to me. I can understand from people that I've helped, when you are in a freak accident, when you go through a loss, when people hurt you, it's a shock to our life, it's a shock to our system, and it's a completely disruption to our internal world, our way of being, our way of living.
Exactly.
And that disruption, that wave, that ripple can last for some people for years. And for me, it did as well. But what I learned is that at some point, we need to put a stop to that ripple, because it will go and go and go and go. And it's a conscious decision that we have to take at some point to create a change. And this was really hard for me. This was hard for me. I'm going to be honest. And I didn't want to go being a victim, because I'm like, well, shit, who am I if I'm not being a victim? And it was a rude awakening. It was a rude awakening. But you know what's also the downside of that? You can't be empowered and a victim at the same time.
It's true.
You can't win and be a victim at the same time. You're in a completely different mindset. You're in a completely different biochemistry flow. Completely different.
It's kind of like I don't know why, but when you were talking about that, it reminded me of a story that somebody told me, and it's real quick. It's then I think
please,
the last break, and then we'll come back. But this story is fictional. These guys don't exist, so don't worry, it's not real. But there's these 2 good old boys sitting on their porch in probably Georgia or Alabama or something. They're sitting there and they're drinking their sweet tea or whatever, and they're rocking chairs, and they're looking over on the porch, and there's this hound dog sitting on the porch, and he's just howling away. Just, he's howling, and he's in pain, man. He's howling, he's miserable. And the one boy looks at the other good old boy, says, "Hey, what's wrong with your dog?" And he says, "Don't worry about him. He's just sitting on a nail." And he said, "Why doesn't he get up?" He goes, "Oh, it only hurts enough to howl." That's
powerful. Right.
It doesn't hurt enough to actually move and do something different. It just hurts enough to make it known to everybody you encounter that you're miserable.
That's such a great example. Very, very good example.
Don't worry, no hound dogs were harmed in the making of this story. It's okay. So
no, but I was sitting on my nail also a little bit too long.
So, well, let's do this. Let's take one last break, and then I want to talk about some success stories, man. Because clearly, you don't write a book like that. You don't go through what you're doing in 700. That book covers like 700 different medical
22, yeah.
So we're gonna talk about some success stories on the other side of the break. So everybody stick around. You don't want to miss that. So all right, we'll see you in just a minute.
Hey there. You know, every time someone comes into your business or website and uses their card to pay, a percentage of that gets folded back into the system. But it can go to Hydro with Hope instead. If you'd like your business to support us rather than feed back into the system, scan the QR code and we'll show you how to do that while saving your business money.
Tired of losing cell service in dead zones? Concerned about connectivity in emergencies? There is now an answer. Introducing the Love Pod. The world's first affordable encrypted global internet Wi-Fi hotspot connects with multiple service carrier networks and is satellite assisted when no service carrier networks are available. So it works virtually anytime, anywhere. Connect up to 9 devices, like our cell phone, laptop, desktop, TV, security cam, and more. Stream, chat, text, download, and make phone calls, all with no roaming fees. With mesh capability, the Love Pods will grow in strength and speed with each new pod activated to create a private terrestrial-based intranet called Love Global Network. The Love Pods are dual blockchain encrypted with Love's proprietary 2048-bit cube chain encryption, giving you the ultimate protection in data privacy and security against digital attacks and hacks to your devices. You are no longer tracked, and your data is never sold. Get the Love Pod, your private, encrypted, portable global internet Wi-Fi hotspot, and stay safe and stay connected.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Greg Russell. I'm the host of TechnologyTuesday.com. You can find us on the Conscious Business TV network every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest resources to help you make more money in your business. Join us on E360 TV. Come on.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. We are back for our last segment. I can't believe it's gone this fast, but here we are. So I am very excited to just cut you loose, man. Let's tell some stories, man. I mean, you don't do what you're doing for as long as you've been doing it and have a book, like a lineup like you have, without helping lots and lots of people. So maybe pick some of your favorites and let's hear it.
So specifically about that book, because I have 21.
I don't know. You tell me. The book you just put up there, the big giant 700,000.
Yes.
Book. Yeah.
So let's start with that, because that book, I mean, all my books really is about what I learned from my clients and what I myself have been through. And then what did we do with that? How do we work with it? How do we start to, dislodge ourselves from that place of stuckness? And so Metaphysical Anatomy, what I didn't know and what I absolutely love. So I'm actually self-published because the publishers wanted to change the work too much. And I'm like, well, that's not what the client said. And I'm just I'm like, no. Well,
they probably wanted to mold it into something they understood more, probably. Right?
They wanted to make it shorter. I'm like, why do you want to cut out information that can help people?
Right.
So I found a printer that would tolerate the size of my book. So what happened was this book, Jeff, it went viral. It's now sold in 80 countries. It just sold itself. And it's in hospitals. It's in doctors' offices. Wow. It's in psychiatrists' offices. It's part of certain universities' curriculums for kinesiology and body work and understanding muscle tension and all these type of places, right down to the people that just want to know what is going on in my body. I had no idea. And so The book just found its own way. It created a personality and a life force of its own. And I'm so thankful. And what I love is just when I talk to people and they always say, oh, Evette, that big book that you have, I love it. So I always know which one they refer to as the big book.
It's a big book. Yeah.
It's so rewarding. It's so rewarding hearing the insights that people had, the breakthroughs that people had, people who don't believe in, looking at holistic alternative methods. When they read certain sections, it was life-changing for them. It completely dropped the filter, and that helped a lot of people start their healing journeys as well. I'm thrilled. It made me so happy. And what's also great is it's helping practitioners of all different fields. And what makes me so happy about that is that they're helping a ton of other people. So it's like this book just continues and pays its way forward into people's lives, helping them to just build that awareness, even if it's just to spark that flame in your heart, to just look at something from a different perspective, because that's where change starts. It's to see that there's an alternative path. It's to see that there's something that I have not noticed, but now I see it. Now the question is, what's going to make or break? The outcome is, what am I going to do about it? Yeah. How am I going to go about that? So this is the power and the love that I have for what I do, because every day I wake up to these emails still after all these years. Nice. And it's so rewarding, Jeff. Like, I'm just basking in love hearts every day. So it's just, I love it. And of course, also with the other books, there's sometimes and I wrote these books, like, the anxious dialogue about depression, solving pain without pills, and all these different complaints that we have that I learned from people. So many people are ashamed to say that I feel depressed. So many people are ashamed to say that I feel anxious. And I'm thinking, well, I'm not. So I'm going to write a book about it. And for anyone who is shy, it's for you. Because this is not a path or a journey that needs to be walked alone. There's something that can support, that can give advice, that can give help. Just like there's podcasts about it, there's shows about it. All of this are beautiful tools that's coming together to help people who might not feel comfortable to speak about how they feel and so forth. So for me, it's important to try to reach as many people as what I possibly can to help them, to support them. Yeah. So this is where the success just continues to just flourish. And it's someone else's happiness, for me, is success. Someone else starting to address their life and starting to go through a healing journey, for me, that is success. Even if I could just spark an idea for you, even if I could just spark an idea for your practitioner that would change the complete direction of the session to explore something that might have been overlooked. Fantastic. This, for me, it's a win. So this is where the success just continued to pay itself forward. And to this day, it's doing that. And I love that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Oh my goodness. And so you get all these emails, all these different, all this communication about is it mainly just that big book that you're getting these, or is it all of your books that are
it's all of them. It's all of them. Because I speak quite honestly, I speak quite unfiltered. A lot of people would see me on TV or podcasts or radio shows and so forth. And we're professionals. We speak with grace. Yeah. But let's be honest, we don't always show up that way in all areas of our lives. And I love the fact that I can be shamelessly me, being who I am wherever I am. It's the greatest gift of freedom that I have ever given myself. And, Jeff, self-acceptance is the hardest thing to do and to actually give ourselves when we've actually set up our lives to make it about other people accepting us and, morphing ourselves into ways of being and living, right? So you start to lose your sense of self in that. So coming back to me and to just be Evette in a respectful, of course, unapologetically, not in a rebellious way, but just in a self-accepting, gracious way was, the freedom that came from that was beautiful. I don't know if you can relate, but that's just, I love it. And I wish that for everyone.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what was going on there. So we have about a minute left. What would you like to? I mean, this has been amazing, and it's so fun, and I could stay on here for another hour with you because we're just rolling. But
Yeah.
but we can't. So we have about, I don't know, 30 seconds, 60 seconds left. What would you like to leave our audience with as we head out?
What the greatest aha moment for me and the most beautiful awakening was that we often end up treating ourselves the way that we allow people to treat us. But as we mature into our adult self, we can start to change that. And you no longer have to use someone else's traumatized filter and perspective of you as your truth anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your birthright to call your power back from that. And I wish that turning point for every person.
I love that. It's true, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I say something a little similar. It's like, look, your attitude is the only thing you have 100% control over. It's the only thing, right? That's you're in control of that. That's it. Everything else is how you respond to it. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, God, Evette, thank you so much for being here. This has been amazing.
Thank you for having me.
I feel like we should figure out another time to do this again because I'm sure there's so much more to talk about. But
oh my goodness, it's a series.
I know, right? We could do a whole series. So, but thank you so much for being here and taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your story, and we'll talk again soon. I'm sure. Stick around so we can chat for a second. But thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Holy smokes. That was so cool. I love shows like this because there are such cool stories with this. And I'm so glad that we got to do this. And I'm so thankful for Evette. And so thankful for you. Thank you for watching. If this is your first time, thank you. If you've been watching for years, we so appreciate you. And join us for our next show, which will be on my oldest daughter's birthday, actually. We're going to be back on September 30th, Tuesday, September 30th, for another amazing show with another incredible guest. Thank you so much for being here, and have an amazing day. See you soon.